Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot. The comic spot. Linda's on the microphone, keeping it hot. Doing the interviews to thicken the plot. Give it a listen, cause you'll like it a lot. Or maybe not at the comic spot. Everybody's talking at the
Hi, Paul.
Hey there.
How are you doing, Paul Ogata?
Doing good. Doing all right, I guess, as well as anybody could in this time.
Yeah. We're already Facebook Live because I'm so automatic.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure you remember meeting me at Ace's Comedy Club, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm memorable.
It was a fun club in its many incarnations, yeah.
Yes, many. Paul Ogata, you are an award-winning globetrotter. This is Paul Ogata. This is comedy royalties. Globetrotted, globe
Yeah, I don't know
trekker.
about that.
Oh my gosh. You just took off like a beast in comedy. You've got your own iTunes show, Paul Ogata Live in Hong Kong. Do you know you have that?
You mean I recorded a CD in Hong Kong, yes, and you can get that on iTunes or wherever else they sell poorly recorded comedy. And I don't know, did a half-hour special on Comedy Central Asia that aired across Asia, I guess, and not in America. If somebody knows someone in charge, please make that happen.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it's hard to get things in from Asia nowadays, ain't it?
Yeah.
Certain things come, but other things don't seem to make it. It's weird.
Yeah.
Tell me
where are you at these days? Because I know you were here in the greater Southwest Riverside County region, and then you moved away. Where are you now?
I moved to Portland, and then I lived in New York a couple times doing comedy at Comic Strip Alive and barking in front of Greenwich Village. And then now I live in Vegas, and I'm kicking it.
Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if everything unfolds quickly, I'll be in Vegas at the South Point in mid-June.
You're going to be on Gabe Lopez's Dirty at 12:30?
Yes, ma'am. Let me give you the date. Assuming things open up and don't shut down forever. Let's see.
Yes.
The 19th is a Friday, and so 12:30 Friday night. Technically 12:30 Saturday morning, but yeah, the 19th of June. Hope to see you there.
Oh,
Yeah.
You will see me because I go every Friday.
Okay.
I don't want to watch, the schlemiels of comedy or the schlemazzles. I want to watch the pros.
I don't know what that means, but I learned those words watching Laverne and Shirley. That's the my only exposure to those words.
I grew up with a Jewish dad, and so I heard those words, and I know that heckle rhymes with schmeckel.
Okay. What does that mean, though?
A tiny penis.
Oh, you'll get heckled for that. Yeah, you would. All right.
Finally, Yiddish makes sense, It's things like that. It's the little things.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about the artwork behind you.
This artwork is from Phyllis Diller. I went to her house, and she was painting in the later parts of her life and would sell paintings. So this one here is an addition. It's not an original, but this one here is an original. And I love what it says. It says, "Happiness is a habit. It must be cultivated." So I really like that message, and I got this one from her.
Oh, my goodness. What was it like meeting her, Paul?
Oh, it was amazing. The laugh. She still had that laugh even at her old age, that booming, vibrant laugh. It just in conversation. Bah! It was such a joy to hear. And just a vibrant woman. She lived it all. She's seen it all. She's done it all.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then decided to work out her art on canvases.
That's amazing. So what little pieces of trivia did you learn about her?
Well, I didn't really delve into trivia, but she did tell me that uh, when I said, "Hey, let's get a selfie," she took me over to her library and we took a picture in front of books because she said, "When you take a picture in front of books, it makes you look smarter." Ah, and so we took pictures in front of books. There's a little nugget of wisdom you can glean from Phyllis Diller.
This is where I take pictures in front of when I was at Harvey's Comedy Club. I did teaching and podcasting. So everything in my past is up on that wall, and I need
All
to
right.
get rid of it and put books up there, evidently.
Yeah, I mean, or pamphlets. I don't know, whatever. I don't know if it's reading material or it has to be books, hardcover books. Maybe it could be soft. Maybe they could be novels or
Yes. And speaking of
graphic novels.
Paul Ogata, speaking of hard and soft, you used to do porn.
I did one movie with Ron Jeremy, and it's called Porn Dogs. And look it up, porndogsthemovie.com. It's not for everybody. It's not for anybody really, but check it out. It's they filmed dogs getting it on, and we did the voices. So uh, Ron Jeremy's in it. It was Marilyn Chambers' final movie before she passed away. Marilyn Chambers, in case you don't know, an iconic trailblazer in porn, did the first interracial porn and really opened the doors for that. So she's in that. Tara Patrick, a newer porn star than Marilyn Chambers. Who else is in it? I roped Paul Rodriguez into doing it, so he's the Chihuahua. I'm the Shar-Pei because, as you can see, it's typecasting. Uh, yeah, check it out. Porndogsthemovie.com.
Wow. What would a Jewish old woman be in a porn star that's animated? What kind of dog would I represent?
I don't know. What's in your soul? What kind of dog are you on the inside?
I hate to say it as a Jew, and my parents went through the Holocaust, but I really identify with a German Shepherd.
All
I
right,
want to
then
get
that's
even.
you. That's you, Fraulein. You'll be the German Shepherd.
Tell me about your comedy. How in the world did you, like one day you just said, fuck it, I'm going to be a comic? How'd that happen?
Nah, it wasn't really just a moment like that, but it was a slow building to that. When I was a kid, I loved comedy. I had comedy albums, and I would listen to uh, all the famous comedians, Eddie Murphy. There was a comedian in my hometown, Andy Bumatai in Hawaii, and I bought all his albums. So it was more of the I was always the class clown, and it was more really you know how sculptors say they take away what is not the elephant, and then that's what they're left with is the elephant. That's what happened to me. I just slowly took away parts of me that were not comedy, and that's sort of how it happened.
That's great. What was the very first club you went on stage?
The very first club was the Honolulu Comedy Club in Waikiki in Hawaii. And it was
How'd
at the
that go?
top of, oh, it was, well, the first time I did comedy was at the University of Hawaii. And it went pretty good. I'd never done it before. And there was a college comedy competition, and I placed third. Uh, and the owner of the club was one of the judges. He said, "Come over to do my show at the Real Club," and I did it. And oh, just ate a bag of dicks on stage. It was horrible. It was terrible. And I stopped for a long time after that. But as you know, comedy tugs your coat, it pulls you and says, "Nah, let's go this way. You got to do this." But I came back again, um, proceeded to eat another bag of dicks again, and then quit for a longer time, but came back finally because it's a calling.
So Dante thinks that you're one of the best comics in the world.
Dante,
Yeah.
what's he smoking? That is, he's insane.
He says that about you. I remember getting up on stage when I was 63 years old, and then everybody would get real quiet when you and Mark Christopher Lawrence or Taylor Tomlinson would come to Aces. And it was so scary seeing you come in a building because everybody was like, oh, he's so good. And I was in that improv class with you and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And you get up there and you just tear the place up with whatever you did. I don't know what you did. That's why I like to watch good people, because I can't figure out what you're doing. If I could figure it out, I wouldn't be watching.
Well, that's the beauty of improv. We're all figuring it out. We're all learning, and it's every time you do an improv scene, it's new, so you can't be an expert at it. We're all flying blind. We're all building the plane as we're flying it, as they say.
No wonder I was scared. Mrs. Orville Wright. So tell me about all the stuff you've done in comedy. Like, what are the highest to you? I can go and look it all up, and I did, but I want to know what you think are the high points.
You know, there's something to be said for doing a show in a big venue at a theater or a stadium. I've never done a show in a stadium, but I'm sure that would be awesome. But I think it's the smaller moments, the tinier moments that are more precious to me, that I appreciate more. Like you can get a standing ovation from a theater. That's nice, sure. But one time in Singapore, I was doing a show and a lady laughed so hard she peed her pants and vomited at the same time. And to me, that's the highest compliment somebody can give to you as a comedian, where they lose control of their bodily functions. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to elicit an involuntary response from the people who are in the audience. And I elicited a very involuntary response from her.
Man,
so
that's bad.
Yeah, things like that I really treasure. Having my parents come to a show and say, okay, you know what, we're proud of you, instead of saying you should have been an engineer or something.
Yeah.
I think things like that are really the high points in comedy to me.
Yes. What was it like doing comedy for the Hawaiian Mafia?
Well, a legendary Hawaiian comedian, James Grant Benton, he called me up and he said, hey, I got a family gig, a private family gig I'd like you to do with me. And I said, okay, that's fine. So Benton gives me the address to this place. It's in a very industrial district on Oahu, in the warehouse somewhere. And I pull up there, and there's white vans across the street. You know, it's the FBI. I didn't know what that was, why they were there. But so I get out and I go, and turns out, yeah, it's not a family gig. It's a family gig. It's the alleged head of the alleged Hawaiian underground of crime got out of prison, and so it was a family reunion for this guy. Benton fills me in after I get there on who it is. Why this is the information you have to supply to a comedian before they say yes to a gig. This is full disclosure. You got to let people know. So now I probably have a file, a dossier in the FBI headquarters somewhere. With photos, like in the movies, there's a black and white photo of me walking into the crime den. I don't know what it is, but
were you afraid that if you didn't make them laugh, that your head would roll?
Yeah. So that was pretty high stakes, and it was so long ago, but I remember it going better than I thought it would, because it truly was both things. It was a family reunion and it was a family reunion. But because it was a positive situation, they were there to celebrate and welcome this guy back home. People were happy. It wasn't like you go and roll up to a meeting and it's just the heads of the families and their consiglieres sitting around a table. It wasn't like that.
So they were in the spirit to laugh.
They were very much. Much better than, sometimes, I don't know if you've done these hell gig private shows, and because you show up and you're trapped, and now it's just you and these people. It's you versus them. It's very unlike a comedy club situation or at a public show, and you're stuck with these bizarre situations that unfold before you that you had no idea was going to happen. A person hired me to do a birthday party once. So I show up, and in Hawaii at a birthday, the person whose birthday it is, they've got leis, they've got, they're covered in plants, basically flowers and leaves. So I get to this birthday party and no one's there wearing leis. So it's full of people, but there's clearly no guest of honor. And the guy brings me up on stage to entertain, and I said, "Hey, where's the birthday boy? Because no one's wearing leis." And the guy said he walks up to me and whispers, "He's in the cake." And I said, "Well, what is he gonna jump out and say happy birthday to me?" And he said, "No, he passed away before the party, and so according to his wishes, as per his wishes, we're doing the party anyway, and we cremated him, and his ashes are in the cake." Oh, how do you not tell the comedian that before you hire them?
Did you have to go write some jokes about that?
Yeah, no, after now that was a hell gig. That went about as well as I thought the mafia gig would have gone.
Tell me about being in a movie that one of the Wayans, Behind the Smile. Is that a movie you were in with the Wayans?
Yeah, it was a passion project by Damon Wayans, and he wrote it, he produced it, he acted in it, and he directed it. It's a drama about the world of stand-up. So all of the things that happened to him or that he saw or he heard about or experienced in his journey through comedy, he put into this movie. So you have, there's a Mitzi Shore character in there. She's not called Mitzi, but you clearly the archetype of Mitzi Shore, played by Cameron Manheim.
Wow.
And yeah, nails the voice, nails the character, and she takes new comics and molds them into what she wants and tells them, this is how you're going to do it in my club. Marlon Wayans is co-star in it, and he's puts on an incredible performance. He's actually a really good dramatic actor.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know why he wastes time with white chicks movies or the silly. He's really a good actor. If you check out Requiem for a Dream, Marlon Wayans is phenomenal in that. And that's such a dark movie, a grim movie, and he puts on a great performance in Requiem for a Dream. So you could see flashes of that in Behind the Smile.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was it like being in, like you must be really proud that you were in a movie with them.
Well, I enjoyed it. It was the Wayans, Damon and Marlon, Jim Belushi, Cameron Manheim, and then they hired a bunch of comedians to play comedians that the Mitzi Shore character would then try and mold. So people like Jerry Bednob, Rick Overton, Cat Williams, and
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and me. And so we were all these characters that she would try to mold. And at the time, I was living in Hawaii, and Jamie Masada, the owner of the Laugh Factory, called me up. He was one of the producers on the film, and he said, "Hey, can you get on a plane? We're shooting a movie." And I said, "Oh, okay. Like tomorrow?" He says, "No, tonight. You need to get on a plane now." So I dropped everything, got in my car, and sped to the airport. Got on the plane just as they were closing the door. Made it to Los Angeles, and we shot the movie. Unfortunately, Damon never got distribution for it. It premiered at HBO's Aspen Comedy Festival in Aspen, Colorado, and it had a few showings there. But I don't know if he was not able to secure distribution or he decided not to. I don't know what the story is behind that, but it never opened wider than that. So only a very few people ever saw it.
Oh, so it's still kind of like a virgin.
Yes, unsullied by others' glances. It is locked away somewhere in Damon's safe, and hopefully one day he decides to put it out. Especially now, when in the apocalypse and everybody's locked down and they're craving new content. Maybe this is the time for him to bring it out, dust it off, and show it, because it's something I think he should be proud of. It was a passion project for him, and it paid off, in my view, in a very interesting story. Or maybe I'm jaded because I'm a comedian. I'm biased, rather. So I like to see stories about comedy, real stories, not stories like Punchline with Tom Hanks and Sally Field, where they're in a comedy club and everyone has a locker in the basement. Come on, that's bullshit. That doesn't really happen.
They don't even have one in the green room. They don't have one in a club.
Yeah, you don't have a personal locker. Like we're not the NFL.
Get
We're
your
just
jersey.
comedians. Yeah, we just got a little box of dick jokes and we take it from club to club. We don't. It's not like that's silly. So,
What's the stupidest thing you've seen happen around comedy?
oh well, I don't know. We can get real dig deep and talk about the industry, but I prefer to maybe hold out the hope of work later on. So let's
The silliest thing I ever saw is I'm a veteran and I do comedy for veterans.
yes.
I march into a VA and I say, can I tell some jokes? What room do you want me in? You know, and they give me like a small group of people that are psycho or, you know, one step away from a flight deck, and they let me try not to trigger them. And so they sent me to this place in Vancouver, Washington, and they said, oh, hold up. We had a stabbing. So
Oh no.
3 veterans died. So wait a
Oh.
couple weeks, you know. And so I waited and my phone rang and I have to go in 2 weeks after people like, you know, I've got, you know, guilt that I survived. I'm now, all my old PTSD is now re-triggered and I got to go in and make them laugh. So I took the news crew with me. I wasn't going to go alone. And I brought the best of Portland comics with me because I felt totally inferior. And we made those people who had been so traumatized laugh. So it was the worst and it was the best.
That's great. And thank you for doing what you do now and in the past
Thank
uh,
you.
for the troops. It's those, by the way, are the best shows I ever get to do. Uh, Going to wherever the troops are and doing shows, whether it's domestically or abroad or in country, as they say. Uh, Wherever it is, wherever they are, that's where I'll go. Given the opportunity, I'll jump at the chance because you know you meet the most amazing people uh, doing the most fantastic things in the most difficult circumstances. It's and these people chose to do that. It's a volunteer army. You don't. It's not something. We don't have the draft anymore. These are people who. This is the path they chose, and they're doing uh, amazing things in difficult times. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you for what you do. I mean, I'm just one person going into the VA and saying, can I make people laugh? And they're like, hell no, you're going to trigger them. And then a year later, okay, we'll let you talk to some people that are on the edge anyway. What the hell?
Yeah, no need to thank me. I don't do anything. I show up and I eat their food. That's pretty much all I do. But so thank you. It's and really it's amazing gigs. You somehow they always like to show the comedians the top secret stuff. It's without fail. They'll always be like, "Oh, you're a comedian. Come here, check this out." And they take you where you're not supposed to be, and you see cool stuff. It's what a job we have.
They figure, oh, nobody's going to believe you if you report it anyway.
Yeah, my job is to tell lies or stories, you know. So who's gonna believe me?
You've been a doll to be on here. Thank you so much. Where do you want people to follow you to make you even more famous?
Okay, well, yeah, I'm zero famous, so yeah, I need all your help. You can find me on at my website, paulogata.com, OGATA, on Twitter at Paul Ogata, Instagram at Paul Ogata. You want to follow me on Venmo, it's just at Ogata. Or on Tumblr, I'm
Wait a second. I screw things up for a living. Ogata.com, Paul
Paul,
Ogata.
yeah, paulogata.com. On Twitter, it's at Paul Ogata. Instagram at Paul Ogata. Or on Tumblr, I have a page called things that look like buttholes.tumblr.com. and it's exactly what it sounds like. Just if you come across something in this world that looks like a butthole, take a picture of it. You can upload it to things that look like buttholes.tumblr.com, but don't make it an actual butthole. Find something that looks like a butthole that's not a butthole, because that's the spirit of the Tumblr page.
So you got paulogata.com, Twitter @paulogata, Instagram Paul Ogata. Am I doing okay?
Yep.
Then you got Tumblr, which I don't have a clue. I have some in my cupboard from 1957, and they're Tupperware. Things that look like buttholes at .tumblr.com.
Yeah, things that look like buttholes.tumblr.com. And that's Tumblr without an E. So TUMBLR.com.
All righty. Well, awesome. Is there any inspiration you want to give to people? Because see, we didn't get born in this world to know with a manual how to get through your first pandemic. So do you have any funny way?
Well, it's take the punches and roll with it. It's don't go out spreading the germs. Wear a mask. It's all simple common sense stuff. Don't. It's not a conspiracy theory, people. There's a virus out there, and the more we flout the rules and we're out there, you're going to get the virus, or you're going to spread the virus, or both. And this goes on longer. It's because of assholes like people like that the rest of us are going to be in lockdown longer. You're the people that made the whole team run laps because you're breaking the rules. Follow the rules. We get out of this sooner. And if this thing drags out into June, I guess I won't see you at the Dirty at 12:30 at the South Point in Las Vegas. But this June in prime time on ABC, I will be on Celebrity Family Feud with Brad Garrett, and he's taking on Ray Romano, and I'm on Brad's family, and we try to win money for charity.
Oh, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, it'll be one of the episodes on this mini season this summer, primetime ABC.
One other thing, I just thought of it.
Sure.
I'm like Columbo. Wait a minute.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
What was it like being on Comics Unleashed?
That was such an interesting experience because Byron Allen hosts a show called Comics Unleashed, if people are unfamiliar with it. And it's Byron and probably about 4 comedians sitting around a living room type of set. And Byron just lobs softballs at you. And so it's not a show. I'm sure in the beginning it was envisioned as a conversational show where comics sit around and talk crap, which, as you know, in a green room when it's just us around, that's probably better than a regular show. But because broadcast needs a format and standards, it evolved into Byron just lobbing softballs like, so Linda, you like cats, right? And then you do your cat bit. And he's like, so Paul, you ate tofu. What's that like? And then I have to do my tofu bit. But he's got it done. He's a genius. This dude is a media mogul. He's got everything down to a formula, and it works. And he has his own television networks, plural. He has comedy.tv. He has entertainment studios. This dude bought the Weather Channel. Do you know how?
What?
Yeah, I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's close to it. This guy was a stand-up comic, and he's built an empire. So it was real interesting to meet him and see what he's built from the inside. They still air it incessantly. They're going to air it to the end of the world, which might be soon. But I still get calls or messages at 4 a.m. People are like, "You're on TV now." They always air it in the middle of the night because I guess my comedy is good to help put people to sleep, I guess.
Oh shit. So I just have one parting thing to say. I went and saw Dante doing a show in LA, and Ron Jeremy came on, and afterwards I got to meet him, and he's so adorable. I kissed him on the lips. And he's the best kisser I've ever had. And I didn't get the virus. So is there a chance that he could be the antidote?
Well, Get tested again, Linda. Get tested again. Right? You can't just. You might be a carrier. You have no idea.
Thank you so much for this interview. I love you. I did from the very beginning. And I just can't wait to see you at the Dirty at 12:30. And I'll be posting all this stuff onto this after I get done whatever I'm doing right now. And check it for accuracy because I'm old AF. And then
All right.
share it with everybody you know on the internet.
Will do.
Thank you, Paul. Love you lots.
See you soon.
Okay, awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody's talking